Welcome to Zero Bad Ideas. My name is Jason, and this is ideally the final update for my digital implementation of Valeria Card Kingdoms, the board game, the digital board game no one asked for, no one paid for, and no one can play because I don't own it, so I can't give it away. So the only thing I've added now is that I couldn't let it go without having solo mode. I realized I had everything there that was basically ready to make it happen. And it would take very little to add that. Initially, I thought I could only do solo mode. Then I thought it'd be too complicated. Then I thought, well, I'll do multiplayer then. But I realized that really the solo mode is just basically 2 players, except there isn't a second player, which isn't even really how it works. So in solo mode, it's not that you play against an AI or anything. It's entirely just on your own, playing a one-sided game. Clicking offline, you can still change any options. That works as normal. Clicking offline automatically sets you to solo mode. There's just a boolean that says solo. You still pick whatever duke you want, but now there's an enemy, a Dark Lord, who's not represented here except in the scoreboard here. They will not collect any resources, but they will collect citizens and domains. And they have a duke. I don't know what the duke is. And at the end of the game, they'll get points based on the citizens that they have acquired. So the only real difference is when I go to the roll phase, you roll, you go to the harvest phase, back to action phase. After the action phase, it goes to the monster phase. It also makes the background darker. I thought that would look fun, but I think it just looks weird. And in the monster phase here, based on what numbers you rolled, in this case a 1 and a 4, I'll have to resolve a monster attack basically for the first column and the 4th column. If you roll a 6, you pick any column. There's a button that lights up for every one of them. So what that means is when I click this, it takes me to the citizens. The citizen inventory right now is, for testing purposes, says only 1 available. Normally there's 5. If there is citizens here, I'm allowed to pick whichever one I want and remove it. And by remove, I mean you give it to the Dark Lord, and then they will have a either a knight citizen or a holy citizen, and if their duke gets points from those, then good for them, and if it doesn't, then too bad. If there are no citizens available in this row, it'll actually skip me down to the domains, and it will turn every other card face down except for the one that I'm allowed to pick, and I would be able to remove it. This is an error that should not actually pop up with that. I actually don't know why. I'm pretty sure this is set based on the boolean of like Dark Lord attack is happening, so I can easily fix that. Anyway, so I pick one of these, I remove it. Because there's 2 dice, it takes me right back up to the monster row. We resolve this monster attack. I'll take take the archer out of there. And then after the monster phase, there's a second harvest phase, and during the second harvest phase, I could have tested or demonstrated this better. You get the right side rather than left side, so as if you're the inactive player. So as if someone else rolled this 5, I get this gold from the left side there. I guess we can demonstrate that better if I roll this, and we get a 5 and a 6 here. If we go to the action phase, I can buy. So I don't have the miner. So if I buy a miner, and just spend my action point, we go to the action phase. Resolve this thing. Now you'll see if I do this, I can't give him the miner because there isn't one. So if I resolved, because I rolled a 6, I get to pick any column. So if I pick this, it'll skip me right down to the domains, and this is the only one I can pick, and remove it. If there are no domains in that column, the game ends immediately, and the Dark Lord wins. So basically, you're trying to like leave as much of a barrier as possible to prevent him from getting all the way through. Now you'll see here, I now have a miner. That's grayed out before because I didn't have one. So when you, in the second harvest phase here, it actually refreshes all the cards based on what ones you now own. So now I can harvest the right side of this guy, and this guy, and this guy. And then I go again. And at some point, either 1, 2, 3, 4. So in a single player game, either 5 stacks or the domains run out, or I think if all the domains are gone or all the monsters are gone as normal. So we can see right now, actually, if I should buy one of these guys, it says final turn. The sign used to change to say final turn. Doesn't do that anymore because you can get into the final turn like 3 different times. So it doesn't make sense to... It used to be just that it could only happen in the action phase. Now it can happen in action phase, monster phase. It's just 2 times. Anyway. Spend my action point, go to the monster phase. Because the game, when you exhaust 5 stacks, the game doesn't end immediately. The game ends at the end of your turn. So we can resolve this. Yeah, that's empty. So now I have to give him this guy. So there's another 5 points for him. And I give him... He's got one of these and one of the holies, I think. So I'll give him a Shadow Citizen. The harvest phase, which is meaningless. I guess not meaningless. I could get resources, and then those are worth points for me, I think, right? Oh, I should be killing monsters with Miko the Monster Slayer. You can see he's got 6 points. Those are his known points. Those are from his domains. And whatever he has from citizens, we will find out momentarily. Game over. And so... Can you get any more points there? I know that's an error, but we'll find out. So now you see these 2 buttons here. So at the end of the game, you can click these buttons to change to see what Duke everyone had. Basically just to make sure that everything was working properly. So we can switch to him. He's got Warren Lord of Rogues. He gets 1 point per worker and 2 points per Shadow Citizen, which he did have. So that's confusing. That must not be working properly then. I did not realize that. But I mean, you can see that it has the idea that it should work. That's probably a minor thing I can fix. And then as normal, you can close that out. You can go back into anything you want, and you can't do anything because the game's over. Check what cards you have. Ideally, I would like a way to check what cards especially the Dark Lord has. Because another player can tell you what domains they have or what citizens they have and all that, and you can keep track of it. Actually, this should be adding up his citizens, so I think the problem is that he's not tracking citizens properly. That's probably why. Because I gave him, 3 citizens? Yeah, okay. Anyway, so this turned into a bug find rather than a show of doneness, but yeah, so I make a couple little changes here, and I'm finally done. I'm not thinking about the expansion. I could do some of it. I don't want to do any of it. I want to move on. This is done, in theory, and move on to a new thing. Maybe I'll play an actual game of this sometime and record that just to see the whole thing from start to finish if anyone's interested. But other than that, that's it for today. So we'll see you next time with whatever I'm working on then. Thanks for watching.